In this video, I would like to show how to trigger the rebuild of the user-facing app from the terminal. I start here at the Google Cloud console to show what's going to be happening on the cloud while I do kind of my trick on the terminal. We're here on the welcome page. We're going to navigate to Cloud Build. Here, I think we landed on the history. So I'm going to filter for tilt release, which is the tag associated to the release app, so the one that is facing users. So everything now is kind of static. We see that the status is green for the latest commit over here. And what we want to achieve is, well, first let's try and understand what we see in this first row over here. The source of the code that is being kind of watched is TiltWebTool data. It's not TiltWebTool. So the software lives in TiltWebTool, that's public, but the data, the private data, lives in TiltWebTool data, which kind of wraps the software and adds the private data. And this trigger in particular is watching for the branch release, right? So what we need to do is we need to push something on the release branch of the GitHub repo. So basically we need to check out the code in TiltWebTool data and put the release branch on the commit that we want to actually release, and then push that branch. So kind of the same process that we did for the TiltWebTool software, we need to do with the TiltWebTool data repository, and that is what we actually trigger. I know it sounds a little tricky, but that's what we actually trigger the user-facing app, as you can see based on the configuration of this repo. So to see the difference, if you look for tilt testing, for example, so tilt testing is tracking. Testing request contains anyway argument tilt testing. Let's see if that. Okay, yeah, this is okay. So see how the source that the tilt testing app is tracking is TiltWebTool. It's not the TiltWebTool data, and it's looking for the main branch. So anytime that we push a commit to main, that app will update, because it will be triggered this rebuild, right? So going back to where we were, let's go back to tilt release to see only that, to filter for those. There we go. So tilt release, that tag, there we go. So these are all the history of builds of this specific app, the one that is looking for commits in release. Here is the link to the trigger. You can click on there to kind of see more details about that. And what we've done so far is, we would go to triggers, find that app, in this case this one here, the last one, and click on run. So that will force a rebuild. But an alternative to doing that is to simply push something on the release branch. So now that sounds easy, but you could be in a situation like this one. Let me show the git log here. So now, for example, we are in a situation where we are in the main branch at the very top of the git history is pointing to the same commit where tilt release is. Say that we did a release before. And nothing changed on the GitWebTool data repository. So if you try to do a git push to say trigger that rebuild, you will get an answer saying everything is up to date. So nothing will be actually pushed, because Git checks that the same repository on GitHub didn't change. So if you do want to trigger it from the terminal, what you can do is to create an empty commit. How do you do that? Is you just create a normal commit, so git commit, you add a message that maybe something like trigger rebuild, and then you need to use a flag that Git has that is allow empty, right? So with that, let's do git log n equals 1, so just the last commit. So you see that now my branch release has this commit message that says trigger rebuild, and if I do a git show, so there is no change, right? So it's not that we add any file change. So with this, we can now do a git push, and now we will have something to push. I mean, there's not going to be any change, but the metadata that is contained in the commit will be moved there. So that means that we expect, there you go. So in the back, you can see how that little wheel started spinning, indicating that we are rebuilding the app. So if we go now to the URL that exposes the app to users, we would expect that when that process completes, the app should be showing the latest version. So just to keep the house clean, I need to remember to move main to release. So git rebase release main. So with this, I expect to have both the release branch and the main branch on the same commit. So I need to push now, and that brings everything to the same place. Okay, with that, what we have just accomplished is basically forcing a rebuild of the user-facing app from the terminal without having to go to Google Cloud. The reason I did show Google Cloud is to only demonstrate that what we expected to do was actually happening.